We're joined today by musician Jesper Binzer. He's the founder of the band DAD. They've got a new greatest hits album out and also a new album coming out this fall, Speed of Darkness. Jesper, how's it going, man?
Hey, Dustin, it's Jesper here. I'm doing fine.
Well, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, man, it's been 40 years since DAD first started making music. I got to ask you, does it seem like it's been 40 years to you?
It doesn't seem like that. The funny thing is that, of course, you can look at the years and say, of course, we've been around for 40 years. It's the thing that, what makes me the most happy of all these years is that we get to chip away at the same stone for all these years. So it's like we can refine our skills and we can find out what is it we're doing. Because, listen, if you, for instance, was like a sports dude, then you would do all your great stuff while you didn't know why and how you were doing it. And then you would be fired the moment you start to realize what you did and what you were doing. In our situation, we get to feel what we've done and see what we've done and keep on doing it. I'm thankful and I'm so happy for 40 years, definitely.
And you guys got a new greatest hits album coming out now. That's a 2-disc set. I forgot how many hits you guys had. This is a great package for the fans here for 40 years of music.
Of course, it should be a great package for the fans. It should be like reconnecting with DAD. But we had a lot of fighting about what songs to put on there, because there was a couple more songs from No Fuel Left for the Pilgrims that some of us thought, hey, shouldn't we have those on as well? Where I was more over in the, hey, what about the more recent future? How about what happened, 5 or 10 years ago? So we had to shift up a bit, and even though it's a 2-disc set, it's still not enough.
Well, Jesper, can you talk a bit about the music scene in Denmark when you were first coming up? Who were some of the bands that you guys were looking up to then?
Oh yeah, I can easily do that. In the 80s, there was. We grew up in the punk, and all the guys in DAD, apart from Lars, who's 10 years younger, we grew up with the whole Sex Pistols, Ramones thing. That was and very quickly we paired it up with the whole skateboarding scene. So skate punk is actually that's where DAD started. But the whole post-punk scene at the moment were a bit bleak and a bit depressing, but also there was a lot of exciting music going on as well. And I don't know, the whole punk thing made people who maybe initially couldn't play, they had suddenly they had some kind of a place or a way to express themselves. So bands like the Gun Club, especially apart from Sex Pistols and Ramones, I think that the bands like Gun Club, bands like Suicide, Alan Vega and Martin Reb out of New York, and of course Velvet Underground and Lou Reed has been a major part in our musical upbringing. That's definitely heroes, and that's definitely a point where we start out from. Later on, of course, we slided back into what happened to us in our early teens. And for me, it was Thin Lizzy, and for the rest of the band, it was, for the 2 other older guys, it was, of course, AC/DC. And I say that for Lars, the drummer in DAD, he was definitely a skateboarder, but 10 years later, we were 10 years earlier than him, but he's still a skateboarder. He was much more into jazz. So we're still trying to teach him how to play punk rock, but it's great. So that was what made us start it out. There was, of course, some Danish bands, but not many. Some Danish bands in the 80s that we were looking up to, that we went and saw. And I think one would be a band called Sword Soul, Black Sun, which was like an old punk band. That was a big thing for us at that point to watch, the artistic side of music close up. Let's see. And then we did a lot of, in the very early days, we did a lot of support gigs. For instance, Lords of the New Church and let me see. Yeah, our Gun Club as well. and Los Lobos. We played a couple of times with Los Lobos. Oh. That was great fun.
Excellent. And then you guys eventually became the influence for a lot of the bands who came after you, and you got over in the States as well. I mean, how exciting was that to make it onto the charts here in the U.S.?
Wow, of course it was great. I mean, we felt like kids in a candy store. We felt like, oh, we're not worth it. And we had all kinds of emotions going on. So are we going to join the industry? Are we going to, have high hair and makeup? What are we going to do to make them love us? And we felt there was a room for us. It felt, I mean, we came over in you could call it the Guns N' Roses era, where some of the hair metal was fizzing out a little bit. They're still there, and it hadn't been over grunged yet. But we landed in that sense, and even Motley Crue and Guns N' Roses had a handful of influences that were ours as well, namely Hanoi Rocks and some Finnish bands, and so we felt maybe not parallel, but we felt some kind of kinship coming to America.
Well, talking about kinship, you've been playing with Stig and your brother Jacob since day one. I mean, that's got to say a lot about your relationship with those guys and the bond you have, on and off stage. I mean, you've really been through it all together here over the years.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's like a marriage, and we have our ups and downs, but it's there's something about having this deep trust that shoulder by shoulder we can really, really conquer the world still, and that's a great feeling. And I don't really know, because I've made my own solo albums and I have a great solo band, but these guys are in my solo band great musicians, but and great guys, and we have having a lot of fun. But this kinship with the guys in D.A.D. is something deeper and something you cannot. I mean, it's pretty wild that we've been able to stand each other for 40 years.
Well, again, the new D.A.D. Greatest Hits album is out, and I've read you've got a new album coming out as well, Speed of Darkness. Can you tell us a bit about that? What are we in for with the new album?
Yeah, we could dive head first into the whole nostalgia 40 years anniversary trip, knowing that we had new music coming. That was very important for us. And we've been in the studio for 6 months. I mean, we spend more and more time in the studio. But there's 14 tracks on this Speed of Darkness, and we are immensely proud. It really feels like we've again, circled around to something where there's a raw necessity to it, and we feel that it's really, really a D.A.D. album, but also a lot more than a D.A.D. album. So we're so proud and really want people to listen to the two songs out now, the Ghost and First, Second, and Third. But I mean, a couple of singles will probably drop before the real release of the album in October. So please prick up your ears. We're so proud of this.
Yeah, I've heard the new singles out so far, and especially liked First, Second, Third. Is there anything that you guys tried to do differently, or some new stuff maybe you tried this time around? Because 40 years,
I think that
can keep things fresh.
I think it's. I mean, there's a lot of things to go a little too deep. I could say that inside of any artist or any musician, there's some kind of policing going on that you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to have guilty pleasures. You're not supposed to have, and you try to make an identity and try to make yourself look cool. This time around, I think we started to just throw out all of those inhibitions, and it feels like when you throw out the rules, suddenly originality actually comes in. So this time around, we really feel that we've got total energy, total melody, and total D.A.D. But this time around, it's even more D.A.D. than ever, still being very anchored in blues rock, bastard rock tradition.
Excellent. And I know D.A.D. is going to be touring through the summer here, mostly in Europe. Could we see you guys maybe come back to the States here anytime soon?
I mean, we try and we try and we try. I mean, we do the Monsters of Rock cruise, and the reason why we do that is, of course, great fans and a good, funny way to look how the Americans do their vacations. But also, that's the only way you can go without spending tons of money on visas, because if you can't really come to the States doing small gigs. Club gigs, because there's not enough money in it, because the visas are so expensive. So what we need to do is to spend some European money on visas and then coming over. And I mean, we're doing everything to do that. And we know there's a lot of fans, and we'll be so happy to come. And it's in the pipeline. We need to hook up with the band so we can have a double header bill kind of thing.
Well, yeah, it seems like the tour ships, a lot of hard rock bands are hitting the seas. That seems to be pretty popular these days.
It really is. I mean, it's a great thing for us, for instance, to meet our American fans, or some of them, because it's a way for us to come to America without those expensive working permits and visas.
Well, Jesper, you've got a lot on your plate here. Of course, the Greatest Hits album and the new album coming out in October, and the tour. I mean, is there anything else we should be watching out for here?
Oh, I mean, we are doing all, because this 40th anniversary, it really, it's there's a lot of stuff going on. At the moment, tomorrow, I'm going to the National Museum of Denmark, and we've got an exhibition there with 40 guitars. Wow. That is decorated by 40 artists. And those guitars are DAD guitars that we released as an anniversary guitar. So 40 artists have, decorated these guitars, and then we're putting them up for auction for charity, and that's like a big thing as well. And each of us in the band made a guitar as well. So it's going to be exciting. So it's going to be auctioned off on the internet, and people from all over the world can actually look and see the beautiful and somewhat stupid creations.
Excellent. Jesper, it's been great speaking with you, and I'm glad that you guys are still out here doing it after all these years, and hopefully I can catch you sometime around the States here.
Thank you so much. Let's do this again when the new album drops, and when we're coming over, because we are coming over.
Excellent. I'll be looking out for you for sure. Thank you again so much. I appreciate it.
Great. Thank you. Bye-bye.
And again, that was Jesper Binzer from DAD. Their new Greatest Hits album is out now, and their new album, Speed of Darkness, coming out as well.